Hello and welcome to Behind the Scenes. They call me Stepney, and today I am joined by Kate Sweeney, Kate in Kent. It's good to have you, Kate. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much, Stephanie.
Stephanie. I don't worry. I get it all the time as well. I was doing one of these and I totally got everybody's name mixed up, and I had it written down in front of me, but because I had a list of about 13 different names, I just kept on getting mixed up.
So. I'm dyslexic. I don't know if we need that excuse now.
It's fine. Like I said, it's totally fine. It's all part and parcel. That's what happens.
I thought it was like on the yellow bit. I thought it was like your hashtag.
Oh no! You know what? It's a name that stuck with me since I was young, and one of my friends, David, he started calling me Stepney. We all had names for each other. That you took the first letter and you tried to find a name for someone. So Stepney stuck with me. Some people, he got to keep his own name, which was quite weird. But it's always been like that. And some people had some really funny names that were,
Yeah, I got called Kit Kat at school. Kit Kat. Like the
Kit
chocolate
Kat.
bar.
Okay, yeah.
In last year of primary school, people were like bored of, they were like, oh, what can we call you? And then Kit Kat stuck. But I'm a bit of a chocolate, so that's probably why. I was always like eyeing up the chocolate.
Nom. How'd you eat a Kit Kat? I was going to say, how'd you eat a Kit Kat properly?
You munch at it? I don't know.
Okay, because there's some people do different ways, and
I bit off. Yeah, I would bite off the kit, and then it says KAT, and then I'd make an E. I'd engrave an E in, and then it was like Kate. Oh, that's probably how it stuck, because I would do that with them, and people were like, what are you doing to your Kit Kats? You're not like munching it, you're not licking it. Why are you putting your nail in it? And I was like, oh, I'm writing Kate.
See, and that's how these names stick.
Yeah. Stephanie, I had a Stephanie, lovely orange hair when I lived in South America, a friend, and she was actually Canadian. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm Stepney. Stephen is my formal name, but yeah, they call me Stepney.
Okay, Stephanie.
So right, let's get into our chat. And once again, it's good to have you with us. And I'm going to start with the opener. This is the one that I usually open with most people. Tell us a little bit about who you are. Who is Kate in Kent?
Okay. So I was born in the Storm. I don't really mention it, and I kind of forget because I was obviously a baby and I've only just been born. But I was born in the Great Storm of 1987, where it was quite chaotic, and I actually didn't see my mum straight away, because my mum had to be put to sleep to save both our lives. And I actually saw my dad first, and my dad didn't really know what to do with me. And he was hoping that I was a boy, because I had a sister who's only like 18 months older than me. So yeah, my dad was a bit like, oh, got the baby. And so yeah, the nurse like nagged at him because he called me a prune because I was quite shriveled up. I was a day late. I'm not very good at timings anyway. So yeah, I think it started from there. I was a day late, but who wants to come out when there's a storm about to happen? But I came out and I was quite tall. I'm taller than my sister, and that's quite weird actually. Everyone always thought I was 5'7", but I stopped growing at 5'5.5", the same height as Harry Potter. And actually, I wanted to be like his stand-in, but I wasn't allowed to because I'm a girl. And I've grown twice since, over like 5 years. People say you can start, if your platelets on your head are not fully done, you can keep growing in your 30s. And I went to the doctor to confirm this year because I've grown again. And yeah, it's quite cool because now I am 5'7". I know people used to go, "Oh, you're 5'7". I'm like, no, it's just because I've got a long neck, a long face, and long arms. I'm like, I'm not, but now I am. So I can stop lying on just. It was only modelling. I'd tell a little bit of a fib. I'd put a quip up, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm 5'7", and wear high heels. But then now it doesn't matter. Everyone's all different heights. So yeah, I mean, I modelled in Spain. I got away with that. They didn't care. So yeah, but we're here to talk about acting, aren't we? More than modelling and behind the scenes, what really goes on.
Well, yeah, it's funny you say that because obviously modelling is part of the industry, and you know, whether you're acting and you're promoting something, you have to model for pictures as you do. So it's all included. You know, there's no grey areas. It's all part of what we do and what you do, should I say? Modeling at 5'7", you know what? I didn't know anything about growing. You know, I didn't know anything about the plates in your head and all that sort of thing about growing.
Yeah, there's different reasons why people grow. I mean, I was taking vitamin D tablet for my sugar levels, so that might be to do with it because I was taking it for 2 years because I had gestational diabetes. So yeah, it might be to do with that, and also the sun. Like we've had some great. This summer was so good. So I think I just like the flowers. I just grew a little bit.
I don't think I can grow anymore.
You never know.
At 6'1", I think I'm done. And it's funny you mentioned Harry Potter because I was a stand-in in the Deathly Hallows. I was a stand-in for Blaze. So I knew a lot of the first unit and second unit stand-ins and stuff like that, and they were all fantastic. You know, we had a great laugh on set. But yeah, it's just one of those stories, I guess.
So I did apply to be in Harry Potter, and I was in jury service, and I didn't get my phone in time because you're not allowed your phone jury service. No. So I missed out. Yeah.
Oh, those things. One of the things I'll say about Harry Potter is Daniel Radcliffe himself, absolutely top person. First day on set. And he comes up to me and he introduces himself. He's like, "Hi, I'm Daniel," and I'm there going, "Of course I know who you are. Why do you want to know who I am?" But you know, and he said, "Oh, hi, Stephen. You know, good to see you around set." He was absolutely lovely. They all were. You know, the cast, the crew. It was like a family environment. Go on.
Is it true that you have to earn your wand to be on set, like to use it? You have to go to wand camp? I don't know. I heard.
Yep. I went to one. It's fine now. The films are done, so it's totally cool. But yeah, I had to do a Saturday, I think it was, of wand training, and you had to learn there were 5 attacks and 5 defense moves that you had to, like the 5 common ones that you had to use and learn. And then you were given a wand. That was quite fun.
Have you still got your wand?
No, you never got to keep it. That was the thing. Is it was just while you were on set. I would have loved to have kept it. And it was just like a wooden wand, basically. You know, nothing special. But yeah, everyone was different. I mean, they spent so much time and craft on everything on that show. But yeah, unfortunately, like with all props and everything else, you just never get to keep it. Never. It is what it is. Like I said, it's on everything you do. You know, you've got people that would have done loads of stuff and would have loved to take them parts of the costume or, you know, props or something like that, but they take it all back in.
They need to reuse it. And
yeah.
Give it back if they've hired it.
Yep. If you could explain to us what it is exactly you do. So you're Kate in Kent. What things does Kate in Kent do?
So I'm a comedy actress, and then I do a little bit of modelling on the side and have a little eBay business. And the thing that I'm currently doing is drawing and illustrating children's books. So what do I do, or what have I done? I've had some crazy good opportunities. Like I got a phone call from my agent saying, "Oh, you've got green eyes," and I was like, "Yeah." My mum and dad both have green eyes, so apparently only 2% of the population do, but I just see it as, yeah, green eyes. And it was to be a clown. They were like, oh, we think like clowns are scarier if they have green eyes, or that's what the production people were aiming, like, wanted. Yes. So I spent like 2 hours in makeup to become a clown. And it was a great series called The Great Night Out. And basically one of the cast members had a phobia to clowns, and I was in the hospital, and it made them start to have palpitations, and the other actors thought that he was about to have a heart attack, but really didn't want to tell them that he has this clown phobia. But when we started filming, I did have like clown shoes, and they were so big that I got given like little pumps, like trainer pumps to put underneath. And I started obviously walking down the corridor, but I started to trip up like the crew members, especially the camera guy. And so I had to actually take them off at the end because it was my big old feet.
I don't think I've got. I don't think, if I can find that one, I'll put it up. But yeah, I do have you in full clown costume somewhere. I'll try and find it.
And it wasn't like because they were long; it was because they were so wide. Because like they're like bubbles. Clown feet are like, yeah, they're just different sort of shoe. So yeah, that was really cool. And they took that picture, so I was like, I'll keep it. But I showed it to my daughter recently, and she got really spooked out because kids get all scared by all that stuff because of even some adults. So I didn't go home like that.
I didn't know green-eyed clowns was a scary thing. I mean, it's news.
Yeah, apparently green eyes are scarier.
All right. Talk about some of your other jobs then. Let's go through some of your other jobs. Tell us about some of your other jobs and what it's been like.
Okay. So I got to perform with Lee Evans. That was really cool at the O2. But I kind of blagged on my I don't think it was called a portfolio, but like my show reel. I didn't really have much of a show reel back then. So I said I could sing, right? And it's not that I can't sing a little bit. I've had 2 ear operations when I was younger, so I don't really hear. I can hear further away than up close. And I was going to this job, and I ended up having to go earlier to be in Lee Evans' choir. It was like a Christmas special, and they phoned us up, well, can we go earlier? And I was ready with some other people because I'd done a night shift. I'd done an extra job on it was Curry's and PC World when they were like merging together, and there was even a Star Wars person, so we had to film at night. So we didn't have any sleep. There was 3 of us, and we hadn't had any sleep. And because the costume fitting had been brought forward, and luckily I was living in Woolwich at the time, and it was only Greenwich at the O2 I had to get to. But I was on the bus because I don't drive. I can, but I'm too nervous to get in the car half the time. So I prefer getting trains and stuff. So I literally turned up, and I had no sleep. They put me in the costume, and then we were doing rehearsals, and because it was summertime, I forgot to stop saying I didn't feel like I needed that much sleep, but I hadn't slept for 2 proper days because they were night shoots. And the 2 other people having coffee. Well, I thought I can't have coffee because it makes my heart go like quite fast. But it was decaffeinated, so I had it. And yeah, I just felt like a bit woozy, but I was like, we had to do a bit of dancing, so it was fine. So it wasn't like I was staying straight and then people could see me swaying. In the rehearsal, it was so hot they put big fans on, and then the curtain fell on us. There was like 6 people on one side and 6 people on the other side, and on my side the curtain just fell, but it went gradually, and then it just went, and it went boom 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 boom. And I was the shortest person, and I was on the end, so I got a whole curtain, and I was literally like, I was trying to keep still, and I was like waddling to trying to like get it off my head. And the behind the scenes, actually, it got caught behind the scenes, but I've never seen it. There was a camera guy behind the scenes, and he was just laughing. I wasn't at the time. And then we got to go for lunch, and some of them were like, oh, let's go into like there was a few restaurants at the O2. I know now there's loads. And we ended up going to one, and it was happy hour. And they were like, you're going to have a drink to go back on stage. And I was like, okay. So I had like 2 little mojitos. And then they gave us food. They could provide us with food. So then we went back and had our lunch. Or it might have been like brunch. Yeah. And we were there for a few days. And we just got to do the help with his DVD. And he was so nice. He shook all our hands. And he goes for a run to get all the adrenaline going. So he'd been for a run and around the O2 and then like shook our hands. But I didn't say a lot because I was still like overwhelmed by the curtain nearly knocking me out. But yeah, that was a fun one. And I still got the outfit. I have actually got the outfit, the tux. And then I saw some more tux on Big Brother. So I think they had so many left over. And there was a task on Big Brother where they had to not get any like food on them, and they all had to wear white tux that year. So it's good, like they do reuse stuff, but we got to keep our outfits because they tailored them in. They were like, it's better that you guys like take the outfits. So we, for like £10, we got shoes, top, Zara blouse, a waistcoat. So yeah, it was a really cool job. But I just needed a day to sleep in between. But then maybe I wouldn't have been so overtired and hyped up. Another job I did was an advert, and my shoes fell apart. I brought my own shoes, but they were wicker, and I didn't really think it through because we were in a park and it was muddy, and it was all about it was just when Zoopla had its first advert, and there was like the main cast, and there was only 2 of them, but they were talking about buying a house. And then I was sat on a bench, and these 2 dogs came, and they were just passerbys, but they wanted it to be natural, obviously. But one of the dogs had started like scurrying, and he just like made my feet completely muddy. And because I had like wicker shoes on, they did not last. And I did ask costume, but there was only one costume person, and they didn't have any shoes my size. So I had to go. When I left, like it was only there for a few hours, I had to go to their little town. It was just like a few shops, and I actually came across this boutique charity shop, and I bought a pair of shoes. But by the time I got home, they gave me a blister. But I was like, at least I could walk on some sort of thing. So that taught me like always bring a spare pair of shoes. And then actually, just before then, I was a shoe manager, so I was always working with shoes. So I'd sold so many pairs of shoes, and then think about, I had another one of my best jobs was when I got paid. Well, it is the best job, paid to eat chocolate.
Nice.
I got chosen to be a Calais mum. So Calais like the rice cakes. And they brought out a chocolate brand. So there's chocolate on the rice cake. So I literally got paid to eat chocolate rice cakes all day. And it was really spooky. They'd actually auditioned little girls to look like to be my daughter. So when I turned up, there was this spitting image, like a mini me. And I was like, whoa, because I didn't expect it and they didn't say. And then I had this husband that was actually a model, and then there was a real family. And yeah, it was a really good day. But I've got really odd feet like that. I got blisters then. That was the only thing. We were running after this big kite. So that's just taught me to bring like inner soles and blister plasters. Yeah. When I'm doing bit of acting. And one job I was sick like 6 times. And it's on my show reel, the one, Love Bite. It was a big round ride, and we filmed in England, but then one of the actors was ill, so we had to do like the reshoots in Scotland because that's where half the film was filmed, but they got a different ride, and this time it was bigger. So I'd been travelling as well, and I hadn't missed they actually sent me by aeroplane to Scotland, and I got to go from City Airport, but it was too foggy to fly. So my flight got cancelled, but luckily I just had hand luggage. So I had to then go and come out and there was someone with a Sweeney sign, and I was like, I haven't even been anywhere, and I'm getting in a cab to go to Stansted. Luckily, I had my costume like on me. I wasn't wearing it because it was like, that you can see like the shorts and the way that they made me look a bit tired. And I was playing a 16-year-old, and I thought it was really weird because I was like 21, I just got married, and then there was 2 girls that I was with in England filming, but then they couldn't do it, or they didn't end up flying everyone. They decided that we can just use actually Scottish people, like extra members in Scotland, to make it easier. And it was all to do with my tattoo, really. They'd written in the script that they wanted to take the mickey out of a girl with a tattoo. And I saw the script and I was like, oh no, this must be me. But they didn't know I had a tattoo on. They were going to draw it on. So yeah, it was really interesting. It was fun, but not being sick, because I was literally sick 6 times. So they had to keep brushing my hair to hide the sick. They were going to superimpose like even more sick on, but then they decided not to. And I got this really nice hotel room, and it had like 2 rooms, and they had 2 TVs, but I didn't have time to come back. I didn't get time to go there in the first place because of the fog. I had to go to the other airport, so I couldn't go to the hotel room before I started filming. And when I came back after filming, I had so much sick in my hair, I had to shower twice to get the smell out. I literally remember falling asleep for half an hour, and then I went to the wrap party. And I was just conscious that my hair still smelled sick. It didn't, but I didn't even know if there was a wrap party. So all I wore was this bubbly blue dress that I had just shoved in my bag. But it was really nice. Like, the Scottish are really friendly. My granddad's Scottish. So I've been blubbering on.
No, like I said, these are it's interesting to hear stories because yeah, I mean, you don't hear stories of people falling sick 6 times while filming something. You don't hear of somebody actually getting blisters on their feet because their shoes have fallen apart. And this is what life is really like behind the scenes. This is what is every day. You do your first job and you realize that, okay, you're not prepared. You do your second job and you still go, I'm still not prepared. I thought I had everything covered. You do your third job and you go, I've got everything. And then you go, it's freezing cold out here and I haven't got all the tops that I need to keep warm or anything like that. So it's not blabbering on. It's funny stories that people want to hear, people need to hear to find out what life is actually like. Because if you're not in this industry, you have no idea. You have true. No idea.
Yeah, they think it's glamorous. It's one take, and then sometimes it is, but most of the time there's loads of people behind, like really working their butts off, like mirrors that means makeup artists and stylists. Like, they have to all get up even earlier than we do to do this, like sewing costumes. Like I've got a really Martin Scorsese. Oh, he's a lovely director. And my friend, we both have the same name. We're both called Kate, but she had her stage name. I didn't even know about stage names. Her stage name's Marley. And we both had to be seamstresses for The Adventures of Hugo Cabaret, which is about this boy, and he lives in a train station, and he ends up having to learn to fix clocks because his dad passes away, or his granddad. My memory's not great, but you've got to watch the film. It's really good. And my friend Kate, she's a bit naughtier than me, and she had her phone and it wasn't on silent and it went off, and he looked at me because I was right next to her, and he went to tell me off, and then I was like, and then he realised I didn't have a phone on my skirt, and then he looked at the other Kate and she was like, oh, I'm sorry, and she got let off. Yeah, she's really cute and small as well, so I think he was like, oh, I'll let her off. She's sweet. There's a few stories about Hugo. I mean, there's this massive dragon that they have on the set, and it has fire coming out of it, and suddenly there was this smoke, but before the smoke we saw this big flame, and literally it was the rim of the massive camera that goodness knows how much it cost got burnt off, and they had to get the fire extinguisher and they had to quickly like blast it. So that's why it's so real, that dragon, because literally the fire was like on that camera, but we were all far away. But also another story about my friend Kate. She got put in these blouse, and obviously some stuff is literally 100 years old, and her blouse was 100 years old. And I was like I was just moving my arms because I am quite like that. I use because I grew up in South America, so yeah, a bit Spanish. When I talk, I use my hands as well. And she was like going to me, Kate, why are you like so full of beans and moving around? And I was like, oh, just damn. She's like, I can't even move in my costume. And I was like, what? Why can't you move in your costume? She was like, this blouse is 100 years old, and they said to me, if I move, it's gonna rip under the armpits. And I was like, no. Wait, so she literally couldn't, she could barely move. She had to pretend that she was moving, move very gradually. And literally after the second day, it did start ripping because it's 100 years old, and they're like this, and they loved it because it's like really authentic, and it was nice and silky. I think it was silk, so that even rips even more. And then there was two real seamstresses, and they were teaching us how to use the sewing machines because I don't have a clue. I sew up buttons and badges, but that's my lot. I don't do hems or anything like that. And Ben Kingsley as well. We worked with Ben Kingsley. He was amazing. Yeah, I had to sort out his collar, and then actually they didn't end up showing that because I got called back in to wear this orange costume, and then I had to be a nanny, and I had these two little girls that were in the circus, and yeah, and I got to wear a ginger wig, and they got excited about it. They're like, oh, we have these ginger wigs, but it doesn't suit many people. And I was like, well, my nan's actually ginger, I just don't have the lovely hair. I've got the skin that, you know, doesn't do that well in the sun, and the yellow-green eyes.
So you've done a fair bit. Why don't we use this opportunity to take a look at your show reel, and then we'll talk a bit more about that. Let's find that for us. Here we go. It should play. Having a few technicals here. Let's no.
Probably a bit shy.
Oh, okay. Let me try it one more time.
Do you have to mute me? Or does that help?
It should just work. I'm saying it should just work. That's my technical word for it. It should just work. And if it doesn't, I'm not sure why. Okay, we'll have to come back to that. I'll have to try and find it again. And,
okay.
All right.
Cool.
But I'd like to talk about one picture that I've got for you here, and because I think it'll be a great story. And
okay.
And it reminds me of something, but I won't let people know what it reminds me of, so you can tell the story. So let's bring up this picture.
Okay. So my agent normally gets me like obviously action jobs, and then she was like, "Oh, what are your hands like?" And I was like, "Oh, they're just like artist hands." And then a week later, I got a call from my agent saying, "Oh, we've got you a hands audition." I was like, "Oh, brilliant." So I was actually meant to meet my dad, but because I had this hand job, I didn't. And that's what I texted my dad. I went, "Oh, sorry, I can't meet you, Dad. I'm just going for a hand job audition." And then he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, my hands look like artist hands. They're recreating this product, car cleaning product. So I've got to like draw in a window." Yeah, I didn't realise it was rude. Like, obviously, yeah. By the way,
A hand job.
yeah.
It's so for those that are probably younger and don't get the reference that I was talking about. It's the episode of Friends where Joey has a hand twin, and it's the only time I can honestly say that someone that I've ever heard or seen someone saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going for a hand job," you know, but not a hand job as such, but you know, I'm going for a job where my hands are being paid. But yeah, that's a funny one. And can you tell us a little bit about this picture?
Oh, this is Mr. Selfridge's, and again, like period drama, people can look so different. And it was the opening of the store, so it was actually like the first series, and I had to be one of the groupies, but actually you don't really see me much on camera. But what was funny, because we end up filming outside in parts, people kept coming up to me thinking I was like one of the main casts, because everyone ends up looking similar in period drama, and I was like, no, I'm not. I'm just like basically one of the background people for the day. And yeah, it was quite funny. It just shows that anyone can look like anyone. Actually, I've just done a job recently that I'm still not allowed to talk about. No.
Tell us what you can.
So I worked for Sky 2 summers ago, and it was amazing. I got to be a midwife, and I thought this is quite interesting, because when I used to babysit, there was a mum, and she was learning to be a midwife. And if I could retain more information, I would try and be a midwife, because it's brilliant, obviously, to help new lives come into this world. And when I turned up, I had to deliver an alien. They literally gave me an alien, but it wasn't a real alien, because I had the real babies in the day before. But I think they looked at me and thought, she can't be trusted, even though I have had my daughter. But I haven't had a natural birth. So this is the thing, I didn't actually know anything. So I got taught like a bit of what to do, and I had to hide half the alien baby, because obviously it wasn't real. And it was smaller, and because it was over COVID, we had masks on, so I had to quickly hide my mask, but I had gloves on as well. So this alien baby was like sliding around because I had gloves on, and I just made it look as real as possible and got away with it. And they put music up, and there was 3 people giving birth, so it was quite cleverly filmed. Yeah.
Okay, well, you have to tell me what the show is called.
Oh, sorry, yeah, it's Midwich Cuckoo. I think that's how you pronounce it, Midwich Cuckoo. It's based on a book, and literally it's a little sleepy town, and it's happened before. Actually, that's giving too much away. Oh no, so find out. You have to watch the film to find out why, and read. And if you read the book, it's really good to see the Sky version.
Okay. I'm going to get this picture up, and we're going to move on to a couple of different questions.
Okay.
This picture it explains what we are. Okay, so it explains what being behind the scenes is like. So you're getting makeup from a makeup artist. You've got somebody taking pictures or filming you. You're there. What would you say your most challenging experience has been while you've been working behind the scenes?
I think it's when there's more than like 4 actors, and you've all got to be at a certain place at a certain time, and if one person starts going a bit quicker, then you've got to go quicker. And then I think sometimes I think it's just or rain machines, that's quite challenging. If you get put under a rain machine in the winter. Yeah, I think it's when you work with more than 4 people that it can be challenging, and if you over then do it like scenes, then it's better to just do 2 takes and that's it, or do it like another time.
And what made you get into this? What made you choose the creative industries as what you wanted to do? What made you get into this field of work?
I did lambda grades. That kept me out of trouble when I was a teenager. I quite developed quite early, and I went to Catholic school, and then out of school time I started doing lambda grades, which was good because it kept me out of like going to parks and hanging around with the wrong sort of people. So that was good. But then I did actually end up giving it up, and I actually failed all my SATs, and I actually got these like little trophies from Lambda for my acting, and I really should have gone to drama school, but I didn't even know it existed. My sister already went to secondary school, so I ended up going to the same one as her, and I didn't want to go to that one. I wanted to go to this, and I wanted to go to a place Cooper's, because they did swimming and they had more of an acting department. And my dad said to me, oh, it's too competitive acting. But I ended up going down that route because I can't spell for toffee, and I thought I need something. My reading's better than my spelling, so I thought at least I can read like scripts and stuff. And my memory was good then because of previously doing the lambda grades, because you had to learn lines and stuff. And I knew a few accents because when I was little, I've lived in South America, so I speak Spanish fluently, which. So I would like to, that's my next thing I would like to do. And that's probably actually what's the most challenging thing, is actually to work on a film where you don't speak the language. So I'd say that is the most challenging thing. So I would like to do a novella, a Spanish soap, and maybe convince people that I can speak Spanish like the whole time, because I just go into a bit of both. So yeah.
And who would you say is your biggest inspiration in the industry? Do you have anybody that you say you'd look up to, or that really has inspired you to continue doing what you do?
There's so many different people that are really like inspiring. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, there's so many directors. I always feel like directors, like, because they have to like they put all the effort in, and they don't really know when it comes to like the BAFTAs and stuff, you know, is their film going to get in there? And people behind the scenes. I don't have one particular. I think I never like as a kid had an idol or anything. Like my idols are more like my aunties and my grandparents, because they obviously had to go through like hard times. I've never been like having posters on my wall or anything like that.
No, that's okay. Look, it's the reason why I asked that question is because sometimes some people say, like you've just said, you know what, I've heard stories from my grandparents, and you've envisioned what that might have been like, and you've put yourself in their situation. And funnily enough, it's come out in a performance, or it's come out in something that they've written or something that they've done themselves. So people also automatically assume that I mean somebody famous or somebody that popular, well known. It could have just been Keith from down the road, for all I know. And Keith was you were just watching him one time, and he does the same thing every day. And you just thought that was funny, and then you started writing a comedy sketch around it or something like that. So inspiration comes from us in all forms, and it's usually a lot closer to home than many think.
Yeah, Derek was inspirational. He used to do a bit of acting, and he told me stories like years before I started getting in the acting industry. And Derek was actually also he was really artistic, and he's done lots of painting in my parents' house, so I would speak to him. And yeah, it's unfortunate, very tragic that he passed away quite a few years ago now, in his sleep, I think. And yeah, he used to tell me really funny stories, like they could bring pets on sets. Like, you can't bring a pet on set now. And there was an agency called Mad Dogs. Apparently people brought dogs then, but yeah, I just thought that was funny about pets.
Yeah, Mad Dogs is still around, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Let's go with this one, because one might be quite a good one to know. What skills have you gained from doing this? What skills do you feel that have benefited you in your personal life or in your creative life? What skills have you gained, or a skill that you feel you've gained?
To see people, but to imagine what they're doing, but don't look at them. Like you've got to, like, obviously, yeah, in acting, like, you've got to imagine what you look like in front of the camera. Because this is what I wish I did media. When I left school at 16, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I ended up being a beautician. But I wish I could see what it's like behind the scenes. Like, that's why I wish I did like camera making, because then I could know what the director and the producer are all seeing. So yeah, I just know now more to like imagine what people are doing behind, so you can all like, yeah, don't trip over the person next to you or to the right. And that's the skill, like predict what other people are going to do.
And what would you say has been your best experience?
Oh, there's quite a few. The job that I'm not allowed to talk about is pretty good experience. Yeah, just meeting people that are just like don't take life too seriously, and yeah, doing stuff that's positive for the world that we live in. And yeah, I mean, I still think some of my best experiences, like, it's the year of the rabbit, so this year I think there's going to be a few more like jobs, good experience jobs. Yeah. But I think I need to do more of my homework. That's what I've learned. I can't just be like, oh yeah, I mean, sometimes you can wing it, and that's what I did about the job I'm not allowed to talk about. I literally, yeah, I don't have a clue, and I was asking my dad more stuff because it's one of his hobbies. And yeah, I was just like, I don't, yeah, I kind of live in my own world. And yeah, that's the thing. It's like when you've got to, yeah, be an actress and you've got to play the part, you kind of need to know a bit more about the person, because that's their life, like their hobby and their life. They're breathing it, doing it all the time, and they've got the skill sets. And when you haven't, you've got to learn the skill sets. So yeah.
Okay, well then that leads me into hopefully one that should be quite interesting. You're saying about people having the skill sets and stuff like that. I know you mentioned Martin Scorsese earlier, but who have you worked with that has really surprised you?
Oh, no, I don't know. Am I allowed to say?
Yeah.
Quite a few people have like there's like different. Oh, I did reshoots with Tom Cruise, and he was really like on the ball. Like, he noticed the painting wasn't there, and it was like a long corridor, and he was doing like not doing everyone's job, but that's the thing, he knew everyone's job down to a T. And so that was quite, I thought, wow. And you know, Jonathan Ross,
yep.
like, his memory is amazing. I didn't actually work with him. I just went to watch his comedy over COVID. So I've got actually 2 COVID masks with Jonathan Ross on my mouth. And yeah, I mean, there's quite a few like directors as well, but I'm not really good at pronouncing their names, who I've worked with, again, who have just known everyone's job, like they know what everyone's doing. So they've obviously like not even being able to like go home the day before and rest, like they've had to like look at what everyone's doing, so the next day it's all like running smoothly.
Okay, and I think I've got a final one for you. Are you currently working on anything? Is there anything we should be looking out for, that you want people to watch or buy? In like, you know, you said you're an artist doing picture books for people. So is there anything that we should look out for?
Yeah, there's a book called Terry's Travelling Trousers that I have drawn, and my friend Teresa has written the second one, and the first one's called Terry's Travelling Trousers and the Punky Pirates, and the second one's called Terry's Travelling Trousers and the Quirky Queen. And so we're just yeah, it's literally going to go to print this year, both the books. So it's been a long time coming, because I've, in between like not having work and COVID, lockdown,
Yeah.
COVID, I've been like busy drawing sketches and then putting them on the iPad, and then doing it all 2D. It's not quite 3D, I'm not at that stage yet, but I got inspired by my daughter and my stepson when they used to watch like Peppa Pig and that, and I thought I can do stuff like that. And I have got a book online that is actually free, called Oh Well What the Hell, and it was meant to be Oh Well Can't Spell What the Hell, but it was too long, so I got rid of that, and that's about dyslexia. And I had a fictional character. Well, it's me, but I just didn't want to say it was me. And there's just 2 things that aren't real in it. Like, she gets married, and then she goes sailing and then gets married. But in real life, I was married when I went sailing. And it's quite funny, actually. Yeah, the character was called Holly, and then I ended up having a girl. I didn't know if I was on a boy or a girl, and I ended up calling her Holly. So yeah, people could think it's about my daughter, but she's not dyslexic, and I am. So
Or married.
That's still on online for free. If people got a Kindle, you can download it. So that was the book that I did years ago, because that's what I thought. Oh, when I have children, I need like enough income, so I need to be like a author. But it was hard to get known, and I didn't have the money to advertise, so that hasn't quite worked out. And I think I forgot about that I could draw, but I actually went into like Apple store and I was like, can I have an Apple Pen please? They're like, no, we don't have those. And then 5 years later, my ex-husband was like, Kate, look, in the window of Apple, they've got Apple Pens. So I went in there and I was like, oh, I want one. So I bought it, and then I was like, oh, it's quite hard it's not as easy as I thought. So it took me a whole year to like learn to draw, and then it sort of just spiraled, from there.
Well, we'll put details of your book, so that people can download it on their Kindles, and it'll be good to read for the little ones as well. Before I let you go, I've been thinking of what should be our ending question, and I think this one is probably best. Okay, so if you were getting into this industry for the first time, what bit of advice would you give yourself?
Try and get someone who looks like you, because if you can't, I've ever done. My friends who I met on jury service, I sent her for an extra job because I booked myself. I double booked myself basically, so I couldn't be in 2 places at once. So I sent her, and it was actually my local job at the theatre. So she just had to sit at the theatre. But it was like continuity. So I'd been one day and then I had to be there the next day. And my dad was like really worrying. And I was like, Dad, like, it's not you, it's me that I'm going to get fired for. If they work out that, you know, I have to be in two places at once. But I love to like always go on new sets. So I was like, oh, I'm going to do the other job instead of the local job. And also I thought, because it's a new place, they're going to literally, you know, when it's a new job, they'll look at you for the first time, so they're more likely to put you on a new costume. And and it was just it was like My Family Tree or something like that. It's some comedy thing that I ended up doing, and the other one was about X Factor, I think, or X Factor thing. Sorry, did I not answer the question?
I mean, kind of. I mean, be prepared, I guess, is what we take from that. And Kate, it's been wonderful chatting to you. I'm definitely going to have you back on again, and we'll just get an update, because this is the year of the rabbit. You are Stormborn. For those of you that watch Game of Thrones, Daenerys Targaryen was Stormborn. So I'm not calling you Daenerys. But yes, you are Stormborn, the year of the rabbit. So we'd like to have you back again to get an update with everything, and hopefully next time I'll get your show all working.
Oh, that's all right. And I'm hoping that I haven't given too much away about what I'm not allowed to talk about, and the actors are not allowed to compliment, because I've got to keep my mouth stum. But thank you.
Zip it. Lock it, stick it in your pocket. That's what they always say. But thank you for having the time to talk to us. You're Kate Sweeney, Kate in Kent, for those of you that are looking her up. They call me Stepney Stephen.
Definitely Stephen.
On Instagram, Kate in Kent.
Thank you for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. And like I said, we'll get you back and we'll get an update a little on later in the year to find out just how the year of the rabbit has been for you.
Oh, thank you. Have a lovely evening.
You too. Bye-bye.